The itch of change. Anku, a bright-eyed, curious young man who was always quick with a joke, always ready to laugh, until he wasn't. You wouldn't know it from a distance, but up close, his skin told a different story. Rough patches ran along his arms, behind his knees, across his neck. Eczema, an itch that went deeper than the skin. But the real scars were the ones no one could see. At first, Anku thought it was normal. Boys fall, get bruises, and life goes on. But as his skin flared, so did the whispers. Look at his skin. Dirty. You shouldn't share your snacks with him. Anku the itchy boy. It was those words, sharp as knives, that cut deeper than any wound on his skin. It didn't matter how fast Anku ran, how high he climbed, or how much he tried to blend in, he was different, and they never let him forget it. Even his friends grew distant, their silence heavy with discomfort. A subtle shift. One day they played football, the next they chose teams without even looking at him. Slowly, the space around Anku became wider, the noise of friendship replaced by the silence of isolation. His heart itched in a way his fingers could never reach. At night, Anku would scratch until he bled, his hands desperate to tear away the shame that clung to him like a second skin. His mother, concerned but unsure, would apply ointment and offer quiet prayers, but the worst wasn't the physical pain. It was the nagging question that buzzed in his mind, a question that kept him up at night. Why me? The more Anku itched, the more his thoughts spiraled. He withdrew into himself, retreating from the world that seemed to shrink each day. The weight of the judgment, the rejection, the sneering glances, it felt like carrying a boulder on his small shoulders. The taunts echoed in his mind even at school, loud enough to drown out the lessons. He was alone in a sea of faces, his thoughts his only company. And they weren't kind. One humid afternoon, after another rough day of half-hearted smiles and empty stares, Anku wandered further than ever. His feet led him through the dusty roads, past the familiar huts, into the forest that hugged the edge of his village. He needed to escape, even if just for a while. Beneath an old tree, half covered by dirt and leaves, Anku spotted something strange, a book. Covered in dirt, the pages old with time. He brushed it off, curious. Who leaves a book here? His fingers trembled as he opened it. Inside, stories unfolded, stories of others like him. Others who had fought battles no one could see, who had felt the same pain, the same confusion, the same isolation. For the first time, he didn't feel entirely alone. The book became his refuge, a quiet voice that told him it was okay to feel what he felt, but it also whispered something more: you are not your skin. Your worth goes beyond the surface. It was a small shift, but enough to light something in him. If the people in the book could find strength, maybe he could too. He read each story with a hunger that surpassed any itch. He learned of a man who rose despite his visible difference, a woman who became a leader despite how people stared at her burn scars. Each story was a brick, and with each page, he rebuilt himself. Armed with this new understanding, Anku made a decision: he would not let his eczema define him, and he would not let the whispers break him. It wasn't easy. The taunts still came, the looks still lingered, but this time, Anku stood taller. He started small, talking to those who had rejected him, sharing bits of the stories he had read, relating his own. He didn't try to preach, he just spoke. Slowly, the distance between him and his friends closed. One by one, they began to see him again, not his skin or condition. One day, after months of sharing, Anku gathered the courage to speak at the village square, not to raise pity but to spark understanding. Under the tree, Anku shared his story, raw and real, with wit and vulnerability. His voice, though small, carried weight. You don't know what a person is going through just by looking at them, he said, his eyes scanning the crowd. Sometimes the hardest battle is the one no one sees. The villagers listened, some nodded, some wiped tears, and some still didn't get it. But that was okay, because for the first time in a long time, Anku felt seen, not for his eczema, but for who he was. And in that moment, under the shade of that old tree, Anku knew that change doesn't happen overnight. But it starts somewhere. Sometimes, it starts with a single story. Your skin doesn't define you, nor do the scars others can't see. Mental health is more than surviving, it's reclaiming your narrative, finding strength in vulnerability, and daring to be seen for who you truly are. Mental health goes beyond surviving tough moments, it's about reclaiming your story, even when others don't understand. Healing begins by acknowledging struggles, seeking support, and believing in your worth beyond challenges. True strength is in seeking help, finding peace within, and daring to thrive. Sometimes, the hardest battle is the one no one sees. Anku's story reminds us that the scars on our skin are only a fraction of our wounds. True strength is found in speaking your truth, even when the world doesn't understand. Mental health matters. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving, finding peace within, and believing that you deserve to be more than the labels placed on you. Thank you for watching. I hope you share your story in the comment section. Like Anku discovered, we are all more than just our appearances. His journey reminds us that true strength comes from within, and every person has a story to share. Your story matters too. Whether you faced appearance-related challenges or found your own path to self-acceptance, we'd love to hear it. Let's create a space where we can uplift and support one another. Remember, you are more than your appearance. Be appearance positive. Appearance positivity isn't about achieving a perfect look dictated by society. It's about embracing who you are today while working towards your goals, without shame or judgment. It's a vibrant journey of self-acceptance and empowerment. Thank you for being part of this journey, and I look forward to hearing your story.